Welcome back, everyone, to the In Off the Bench podcast gymnastics special. We got a special one right now. We got Maya Lauzon from California. How are you doing?
I'm doing really good. How are you?
Fantastic. I mean, this weekend can't get here soon enough. Obviously, you see I'm red in the face. I've been covering baseball. And as much as I love baseball, there's nothing that beats the environment that's going to be Fort Worth. Last year was amazing. Going to do it again. I know things are a little different for you this time, which we'll get into. But I got to talk about a picture I saw today. I am a barbecue connoisseur, and I saw your picture having beachside barbecue. Like, I got to know, how good was it?
No, it was good. Is this the recent Instagram post that
Yes.
I had put up? Yeah. I recently just went to Santa Cruz with some of my teammates, and yeah, we saw that barbecue place and they were selling turkey legs. And so um there's a Puyallup fair that I used to go to when I was a kid, and they would have these giant turkey legs. And so I saw it and I was like, I need one now.
Oh yeah, you
So
can't go wrong. My wife's go-to when we're at Disney is the turkey leg, right? Because you
yep.
got to eat something on the run, so you just grab a big turkey leg and
Yeah.
you go on the move. So you can't
Yeah.
ever go wrong with that. I'm sure they're better there than they are Disney, even though my wife may, say that they're magical there. But
Yeah, no, it was good. Yeah.
it looked like fun with your teammates. It makes sense now that you said, because I was like, well, she's in Fort Worth today and
Mhm.
wouldn't be the beach, but also teammates. But I saw Maddie, which she is with you. So I don't know,
Mhm.
a lot of confusion. I just know I want to know about the barbecue.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was a good beach pick me up for sure.
Nice. So I got to see you in Huntsville, and I got to tell you a Huntsville story. So I
Okay.
get there, and the tickets are from Ella,
Mhm.
and I go to sit, and I can see that it's the Cal parent section. Well, people are sitting in our seats, and at the time, I don't know that it's Bill Cesario yet.
Yeah.
We haven't met, and I'm like, "Excuse me, sir, these are our seats," and he just gives me a stare down like I'm crazy. And so they get up and move, and then all of a sudden, like the whole section is looking at us, and
Mhm.
he finally says something. He goes, "Sir, I think you're in the wrong seats," and I was like, "No, I'm in the right seats." He's like, "This is Cal family section." And I was like, "Well, I got them from a Cal
Yeah.
gymnast, Cesario." And he goes, "That's my daughter." And it's like, all of a sudden I've like made it
You're like,
matter. And I was like,
"Oh,
I
she's been
was,
on my podcast."
and so I say something about the podcast. He goes, "Oh," he goes, "Yeah." He goes, "I
Dear
loved it." He was like,
Jim.
"Look." And we ended up becoming best friends the rest of the thing. But I told Ella, like, he was like not happy that I sat down and asked him to move, and I infiltrated. He thought maybe I was a Bama fan or something, because I was wearing neutral. I didn't have Cal on, so
Yeah.
it was fun. But I say all that to say I got to see y'all there. I love the traveling fan base. They were
Mhm.
exciting. The Bears chant. Obviously, y'all ended up winning that meet, and so it
Mhm.
was really cool to see y'all in person. But I wanted to ask. I didn't get to see y'all much on TV this year. There wasn't nearly as much exposure, and so that was the one time I really got to. What was your most fun meet? And I don't necessarily mean for you individually, but the team as a whole, since I didn't get to see them as much.
Um, I'm trying to think. I want to say, well, I think for a majority of my team, I think our senior night was probably one of the highlights, just because, we're not only celebrating the senior, but it was one of our last home meets. And so
Mhm.
that's always really exciting to have, all the Cal fans in our home arena at Haas, and just really celebrating so much this season towards the end, going into postseason. And so really just capping off the regular season off on a high note. But yeah, I would say our senior night was really fun. ACCs was also really fun. I
Mhm.
mean, it's cool that, we are in a new conference this year, and with the whole conference realignment. And so being able to compete in the ACC championships was also pretty cool.
Yeah, the senior night would make sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, got to watch other ones around the country. I was a part of LSU's last year to go support Kaya Johnson.
Yeah.
There's nothing like being in front of those fans one last time. And we talked to Shea Campbell,
Mhm.
UCLA. It's part of the star power when you got Jordan Childs and stuff. They had not only like 13,000 people, they had like celebrities all over the place. I asked her what
Yeah.
that's been like, and she said it's just been crazy this year.
Mhm.
So yeah, y'all took care of business in Huntsville. Obviously, you talked about y'all were the ACC regular season champions. I know you're
Mhm.
not, all about you person. You're a team person, but I'd be remiss if I didn't. ACC Gymnast of the Year, 5-time Gymnast of the Week, All American. Do those accolades, do they mean anything to you? Like, I know the goal is for a national championship, but it's got to mean something, especially because you said new conference. Y'all went into the ACC. And y'all took care of business with the regular season, but you individually, I mean, you really took care of business as far as the conference as a whole. You set records that they hadn't seen before.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely a really cool experience to go through. I mean, with the whole conference realignment, it was pretty crazy. I thought it was going to be a lot more complicated than it actually was with the whole traveling and, keeping up with academics, but it was actually okay. But yeah, I mean, it was really cool just competing for a new conference and being able to set some new records for the conference. I mean, I think that really pushes each individual team and each individual to striving for, great and big things. And yeah, so pretty much it was a cool thing. And I think that'll be really good just moving forward, and to leave off on a high note as well, just because I'm a senior, I'm going to be graduating soon. And I think it was just a really cool thing to go through for my last year in my college career.
Absolutely. It'll always be weird though. Y'all are a California team in the Atlantic Coast Conference.
Yeah.
So it's funny. It's funny. I'm sure you look the way y'all took care of business. I'm pretty sure they're not exactly excited that y'all came. Like, it sounded good probably in theory, and then after they had to go against the Cowgirls, they were like, you know what? They could have stayed where they were at. But an interesting thing, when I first met Shay Campbell and she came on the show 4 years ago, she had to go to the national championships by herself. And we talked about that experience. This year, she gets to go with her team. For you, it's the opposite, right?
Yeah.
The last couple of years, gotten to see your whole team's there. You do have the, luxury of having Maddie Williams, so you're not all alone. But how much different is that going to be? Because, this is the definition of a team sport, the camaraderie, the relationships. And so for you to not have them, just how weird will it be?
Yeah, I definitely think it's a little bit strange. I mean, we haven't even tackled the gymnastics part yet, but even like showing up to the banquet today without my team was definitely really weird. It just felt like I was missing a part of me, because I mean, I've gone through this entire sport, and especially being on a collegiate team through it all with them. And so, yeah, I think I'm just going to go out there and give it everything I got. Like, again, I'm a senior, and it's going to be my last 2 routines I'm competing this week. So really excited about that. But at the same time, I'm really just doing it for them and doing it for, the entirety of my career and for my family. But yeah, so Maddie and I are really just going to hold it down.
And you say do it for them. It really is, because in past years, if an individual gymnast does win, it goes towards that. People think of that school, it may just be you there and Maddie there, but like, it will go towards Cal. And so it's not just competing for yourself. It is still competing for them. Who are you? I haven't even got to look yet. Who are you competing alongside as far as team?
Yeah, so Maddie and I will be rotating with UCLA. We're competing in the second session. We'll also be competing with Sophia Diaz on Michigan. And yeah, so I think it'll be a part of
like what I'm talking about. I think the girls who competed in the Olympics was the best thing that could have happened, because they brought in that star power, but then people started to realize, hey, college gymnastics is everything we get to see in the Olympics. I understand we don't have Simone Biles here, right? But the level in which y'all compete at is just as good. You have a lot of Olympians competing and in a floor routine that I can see from you on a Friday night is as good as anything I will see over there. So I think it was the best thing that they came in. And so I think, with that being said, the fact that you're with UCLA, you're gonna have the light shine even brighter. And I think it's a cool opportunity, because I do think your floor routine is absolutely amazing. And you obviously you're doing 2 events, but I think that's, in my personal opinion, that's the one I think you can take.
Yeah, no, I'm really excited to be rotating with UCLA. I mean, they're energetic. They're a fun team. I mean, they have a floor party, which is going to be really fun to be kind of on the floor and in the corral with them. I mean, we're not even on the same team, and we know their choreography, so it's kind of fun. But yeah, like Brooklyn Moore's reached out to me, and she was saying she's really excited to be rotating with us. So I think overall it's going to be a really great experience. Even though our team isn't here, I think we're placed in a really good spot. And I think it's going to be a lot of high energy, even with just the individuals, me, Maddie, and Sophia. I think UCLA is going to bring a lot of energy and a lot of fun to the floor, which I'm excited to be a part of.
Yeah, I think it'll be awesome for you. The funny part about you being a senior versus where Shay was younger, I made jokes in real time. I was like, Kaya, make sure y'all recruit her to LSU. They can't recruit you over to UCLA. You're out of time. I did want to ask before you got off here about your teammate, because I didn't get to see what actually happened. I saw Jordan Kane on the sideline, obviously in the boot. What happened with her?
Yeah, I mean, she's been facing a lot of injuries recently, but she's just been prioritizing, herself and her body really, because, she's also a senior and she's going to be moving on from her college career, but she's just, being on the floor with us, regardless if she was doing the gymnastics or not. She was a really big staple for our team and being supportive and being the biggest cheerleader on the side. So yeah, she's just been facing a little bit of adversity in terms of injuries, but I mean, regardless if she's competing, she's always going to be a staple, a part of our team, and she'll always be the biggest cheerleader there too.
Absolutely. So the last question I got for you, it's the only hard one I got. I'm gonna put you to it. I'm gonna pick your brain. Obviously, a lot of people favoring LSU or Oklahoma. If there was a team that you think, just from everything you've seen, just everything, who would be the team that could pull the upset? I mean, for me, hey, so you don't put you right on the spot, and I've even said this to Shay. I think every team that's not LSU or Oklahoma right now would be the underdog. You have the defending champs, the last couple of years, they've obviously been putting up the scores, been 1-2 all season. So I think everybody kind of knows that, even though they may not feel that way. So for you, like, who would be that one team? Like, I'll give you, she said Florida, so you can steal that answer or have another one.
If I'm being completely honest, I really think that MSU could come out there and pull it off. I mean, the last couple seasons, their program has really just been improving and skyrocketing in terms of their gymnastics quality. And I don't know, I think they're a really strong team. And this is the first time they've made it to nationals in like 30 or something years, I remember seeing. But I'm really happy that they got to nationals this year, because I mean, the last 2 years they were this close and they got it this year. But I think their gymnastics quality this year is amazing, and they have so many talented gymnasts on their team that I don't know, maybe I think if they can put a really good meet together, I believe that they can pull it.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, any of the 8 that are there
Any of the 8 that are there, but I'm kind of rooting
and I'll
for
tell you this on
MSU.
Michigan State. It's actually your fault and your team's fault that I didn't get to see as much, because the problem with the quad was, I have multiple Alabama guests, and then we had the 4 of y'all. And so I'm trying to watch and navigate those 2. And so I even had Planet of Gymnastics, because I've been sending them clips throughout the quad because it wasn't televised. They were like, do you have any in Michigan State? And I'm like, I can't get it all at once, so I was like, I was more worried about the girls we had on the show. I did get to take in some of it, all jokes aside, but I didn't get to probably appreciate them as much as I should have. But I do know how good a team they are, like you said, the amount of amazing gymnasts. So it'll be fun. I can't wait to see all of y'all across the board. But with that, I'm not going to keep you any longer. I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you so much.
You talk about it being a senior. It's your last ride. Just have fun with it. Don't take it for granted. And, hopefully I'm getting to see you carry hardware out of there.
Maybe, but yeah, I'm just going to go out there and, put my best foot forward and just have fun with it, because, one last ride.
Absolutely. Well, that's Maya Lauzon, everybody. We will be back. I'm not even going to say who's next, because I've been wrong on the order each time, but we will be back with the next amazing gymnast talking about Fort Worth. Y'all have a good night.